Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the What We're Watching Weekly Extra. This time, talking about yesterday's season finale, the first season finale of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And this is going to be where I talk about my thoughts, feelings um, about the episode and about the season in general. And to start off the bat, you get this was amazing. I loved the episode. You have Sam Jackson just confirming my wishes of him not. I wish he wasn't a big time celebrity so he could be on more episodes. It's completely selfish and never going to happen. I know. I know this for a fact. But he was awesome in this episode. Um, just from start to finish with him. And also the dichotomy. You look at him from the start, from when he first came on in the beginning, when Coulson, in the beginning of the show, when Coulson damaged the bus, and Nick Fury is just laying in on him, to now to this episode when Coulson is laying in on Fury, and you're like, wow, it's like sort of flip floppy here, and how it sort of just switches from how it just sort of goes from the one side to the other, and I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that whole switch. I loved basically. I enjoyed this. I really enjoyed this episode. I felt like this episode was so just really good. I mean, one of the best episodes of the season. The action was phenomenal. The fight scene with May and Ward was really good. Um, Ward is some of the, I've mentioned, as you've seen in the description. I mentioned some of the questions that I have. Ward is one of them because if you watch the Spreecast that I do every Monday with Corey Scott, um, Ward is one of them where I'm like, okay, how is he? Because they've played him as basically they've had him played as a follower, basically just as this person who follows. Uh, I'm blanking on his name. Follows Garrett throughout the whole thing, Agent Garrett, and it's like, okay, so what's gonna happen now? Now that everything is gone, um, what's going to happen? What's going to go along? Because it still seems like he was loyal because he didn't kill Fitz and Simmons. He figured, I'm not going to sit there and go, you know, bang bang, you know, shoot them like he did Hand. Because Hand I still I still feel with Agent Hand the death of Agent Hand. It was a it was more of a reluctant death, a reluctant killing. I still feel that way. And maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe I'm Fitz in this situation. And I could be, you know, seeing everyone as a hero. But because, Garrett is there, I think it's Garrett, Bill Paxton's character. Garrett's there, so it's like, okay, I'm loyal to him. Think he gets just doing it for Hydra or whatever, and okay, so boom, dead, sort of deal. But I don't, I don't know. So overall, this whole season, yes, there were some down parts. Um, a lot of people were comparing it with the other superhero show that was going on at the same time, and that's Arrow. I don't think the comparisons are justified. Haha, there's a pun there because Justified's a TV show. I don't know what that noise was that just came out of my mouth. But and I don't think that's right because people were comparing the second season of Arrow with the first season of Agents of Shield. I definitely feel like this Agents of Shield was finding itself in the first season, in the first half of the season. Then it very quickly it found itself at, towards the break, and then they once they found their footing, they took off and did good, and 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 so now we are in where they're setting up rebuilding Shield, which is good. Also, I'm so glad that I'm hoping we get more Patton Oswalt with this, with what they set up at the end, with Patton Oswalt being Billy instead of Eric, which means to me, as the comic book nerd, means okay, Patton Oswalt is an LMD, is a life model decoy. Basically, he's the stock generic Shield life model decoy, which I'm fine with, and I'm pretty sure Patton Oswalt is fine with that as well, you know, to where basically like all these secret bases, oh hey look, boom, there we go, you know, there's Patton Oswalt coming in, sort of deal. But anyways, continuing on with some of the other questions I have. Ward was a big one. Fitz is another one because I the whole Fitz and Simmons relationship thing. I loved that whole thing because I relate to that a lot. Um, and I'm pretty sure a lot of guys do. A lot of guys and girls for that matter. The whole that whole thing. The whole will they, won't they? Well, not really will they, won't they, but just how it was sort of played out. I enjoyed. Um, and him getting the courage and doing the heroic thing. Because and really, it's like they're all heroes in here. This whole cast that they have right now, even with Trip. With Trip, and I agree with Corey. Trip is just an awesome person. Um, and just really cool. All the old school Howling Commando gadgets are awesome. And it's like even the noisemaker where it's like, really, how is that gonna fool anyone in modern day times, where it's essentially it's like such old school, it's like really old sounding just noise that they're like, what, oh, there's actually gunfire going on over there, I'm gonna go check it out. Really? Okay, whatever. But still, it was funny. Funny stuff. The lines, the dialogue. Sorry, I'm jumping around with this because that's just how my brain works. But the dialogue between Sam Jackson and Clark Gregg, Phil Coulson, and Nick Fury was awesome. This is why I wish Sam Jackson could be a more of a regular character, which I know is never going to happen. But because like that dialogue is just so good between them, it's like, all right. There was one thing I did miss though at first, because there was a little bit of fake endings that I didn't realize. I didn't catch last night, and I rewatched it before recording this. Um, but I noticed at the Cybertech thing that they killed, and I'm like, okay, they killed Agent Garrett, and then I'm like, so what's going on? Wait, how is he alive and getting into the machine, the Darth. I call it the Darth Vader machine because it reminded me of the scene in Episode 3, Star Wars Episode 3, where it's like assembling Darth Vader and all that stuff, and it's like he just gets up and instead of going like no, like from Episode 3, it's like they should have cut off the head, which that part was brilliant. It was like they should have cut off the head and disintegrates, and Coulson's like, hey, I found it. Told you it was in here. Then walks off. That part was brilliant. Um, which leads me to another question that I hope is answered, and that leads us back to Tahiti. Was Coulson right with the Tahiti project, and should he have remained dead? Because it almost seems like he just prolonged the madness that Garrett, and I think his name's Garrett. I could be wrong. I'm horrible with names. but that Garrett just was like, oh yes, I'm going to accept this as, looking through the looking glass of looking into the eyes of creation, looking into the eyes of the Watcher, to use a Marvel comic books reference right now with original sin. And now, like the last scene, the little scene that leads, that's like a little bit teaser for next season, is Coulson just writing out all these symbols, things in the base in like the storage room. Is this the beginning of Coulson losing his mind? This is another one of those things where I'm hoping it's not going to be like a Lost thing, like the TV show Lost, where it's like all these questions are getting asked, but very few are going to be getting answered. Of course, like hopefully more and more is getting asked. So join me here next time for where I'll probably be talking comics on Thursday or something like that. I don't know. Because we uh, probably be talking some original sin stuff here soon, because Avengers number 20, I think it's 28, is coming out today, and it's an original sin tie-in. But so tell me, what did you think of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as a whole, of this episode? Did you think Sam Jackson was pretty awesome? Do you agree with me on the fact that you wish Sam Jackson wasn't as big of a celebrity, to where he can be in there more often? All your thoughts down below. Share, favorite, like, subscribe, all that stuff. And have a wonderful day.